Hey everybody, how is your Saturday going? It's Twanna Carter. I'm an anxiety and career coach, and I'm here on Saturday as promised with a Facebook Live. And for those of you in my group, I had spoken to you yesterday about I wanted to do a Facebook Live yesterday. I started feeling under the weather, so I decided to postpone it till today. So just give me a minute. And I want to share this video into a couple of groups. Let's see if I can find it here. Alrighty. I am not seeing it, of course. There it is. I don't have on my glasses. I don't like the glare from my glasses when I do a Facebook Live, but it makes it difficult because I can't see as well with my glasses off. Okay. Just keep going here. And okay, I think we've got it. Let's see here. All right. I think that we are good to go. So hopefully your Saturday night is doing well. If you hear some screaming in the background, we are an SEC family. Alabama is playing Georgia tonight, and my sister is an Alabama grad and an Alabama fan, so I can tell you that when they do well, we'll know it because you can hear the screaming and yelling all down the steps, which is why I came down here. Because it was so loud upstairs. So I am here tonight and or this evening, Saturday evening, because I wanted to just share some things with you. I've been talking to a couple of people and whatnot this week, and so I wanted to share with you, as you can see from, depending on where you see this, it's either above the video or beneath the video, about some of us that fear. We go into, we have a great job, we've interviewed, we've gotten into the job, we're performing well to our, other people tell us that we're performing well and we're doing great and wonderful things, but we just don't believe it. And there's just this fear that, I don't think I did well on the interview, and I think I got this job by fluke. Or, there's someone new here and I bet you they're better than I am. They're younger than I am, or they're older than I am, or they're prettier than I am. And I think that any moment someone's going to find me out that I probably shouldn't be here. And so if this sounds like you, you probably heard it referred to as the imposter syndrome. And it is something that many of us deal with on a job. I can tell you that my very first job out of college was in the military. I was commissioned second lieutenant into the Army. And I can tell you that the entire 6.5 years that I spent in the military, I struggled with the imposter syndrome. I had gotten an ROTC scholarship, 4-year scholarship, which I thought was phenomenal for me. Wasn't expecting that. I was the first recipient in my school to receive a 4-year scholarship and actually graduate within the 4 years. Majored in zoology, I minored in chemistry, but I didn't think I was smart. I didn't think I had achieved enough. I always felt that I could do better. And those feelings followed me on the job. I felt like I wasn't the best officer I could be. I felt like I wasn't the smartest officer I could be. I felt like I just wasn't great enough to lead my troops to the best of my ability. I always felt that I was lacking. And, new out of college, no one told me to get a mentor. So I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have someone to guide me through anything. And so I always felt like a failure. I felt like a big failure the entire 6.5 years that I was in the military. There was a couple of times I felt okay, But then a doubt would come, the negative self-talk would come, and it would just overtake me. And it just made me miserable. I just felt like I couldn't catch up. I couldn't keep up. I couldn't do enough to get what I need to get done. And I can tell you that when I got out of the military and I went into teaching, I felt the same way. You know, I just never felt I could study enough, learn enough to be the best teacher I had. And this, even though my first evaluation as a teacher, the principal called me into his office and he closed the door. And he said, you know, you're wasting your time being a teacher. He says, you're administrative material. You are just wasting your time in the classroom. I want you to go ahead and get your education leadership degree, and I'll be your mentor, and I shepherd you through the process and make sure you get a good school when you become an assistant principal or vice principal. I believe it. I mean, here, you know, here teaching, you know, just less than a year. You know, I've been teaching less than a year, and for him to pull me in the office, now when I look at it, that was phenomenal. I mean, he's going like, yeah, but you're wasting your time. You are principal material. You need to be an administrator because you're really good. I didn't believe that at all. I mean, I listened to it and I was like, why would he tell me that? You know, I don't see it. You know, I don't think I'm any better than anybody else here. I just couldn't see it. You know, doubt and just make me not see that. And so even, you know, there have been times that people would tell me, even when I was in the military, they would tell me I did something well. I didn't believe it. You know, it was just a lot of self-doubt. I just felt like I just never could do enough to be good enough to succeed. And so again, if you know, there are people out there, you may resemble this, yeah. And they call it the imposter syndrome. You know, I can tell you that even, you know, as I went on to my next jobs after I stopped teaching, same thing. There was always this doubt. There was always this fear, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough, not smart enough, not good enough. And it just kind of, you know, it rode me for a while. Okay. Many of you, if you've seen me before, you hear me talk about the fact that I didn't discover until I was darn near 40 about so that I had social anxiety. So if you could understand the intersection of having this imposter syndrome and having this social anxiety that I didn't know about. And as well as, you know, it's just kind of all melded together. And I just had difficulties. I found it very difficult to, you know, to succeed at the level that I wanted to. And so what happens is when these things all happen to you in your mind, you know, you have these, you know, this negative self-talk that's telling you that's not good enough. You know, you didn't do enough. You should have spent more time. Or you should have researched this. You should have done this. You should have. And what that does over time is that it shakes your, you know, it shakes your belief in yourself. You just don't ever feel like you're on a flat footing and even footing that you can actually believe what you see. And even though people tell you that you're doing a great job on that project, great job on this, the negative doubt and the, you know, the self-doubt and the negative self-talk, it just leaves you hanging, you know. And then your worry begins to build, like, what if I didn't do this? And this is one that, oh my gosh, really got me. You know, I've got this project and I'm leading it and it's ready to go and I'm ready to perform. And it's like, oh my God, I know something's going to go wrong. I bet you I forgot a detail. And I will be up the night before at home, just worrying, like, did I check this, and going over my list and checking and rechecking and checking and rechecking. Like, I know I missed something, and tomorrow everybody's going to see that I shouldn't have got this because I didn't know what I was doing. And that stuff can just spike your anxiety level through the roof. It really does. And for me, you know, when my anxiety spikes, you know, I get upset stomach. I don't eat very well. And of course, if you don't get the nutrients and then I can't sleep, then that stuff, it just like snowballs. It just makes it way worse, you know. And so I finally got the help that I needed. Through a lot of it was through a lot of studying, a lot of self-introspection. And I just kind of reached a point where I was just tired of always putting these expectations on myself. And I can't say that other people put them on me, these were me putting extra and just building expectations and throwing, I would make stuff 10 times harder than it needed to be. Like, well, if I know I do this and I can get it right, then I'll probably worth it. And I know this and I know I can get this done. But it was putting unnecessary expectations on me and just building fear into the process and building more self-doubt and building more worry. And yeah, it can just make you an absolutely worry wart. Just like nothing, you feel like you can't ever get anything right. So that's where I was. And so when I finally found out what I was doing, and I actually had a couple of people that kind of, came alongside me and were able to guide me and kind of talk to me. And sometimes just cut through the BS, and say, look, you've done the best job you can do. You've done this better than anybody else. Why are you still tussling with this? Why are you still adding to this? Why are you adding to your anxiety? You're doing it to yourself. And they came along and they were like just upfront with me. It was like, oh my God, a spade a spade. You need to stop. You need to quit. And I had really some good people to walk into my life and do that. Like I've never had a mentor, and I can say, I think I've said it before, please, if you're just starting off in your career or changing careers or transitioning, get a mentor, get a mentor, get a mentor, get a mentor. Please get a mentor. Can't say it enough. Yes, get a mentor. Definitely helps. But in my case, I did have some really great people that came alongside me, started to point things out to me and pointed to how I was thinking, and then pointed to the fallacies in my thinking, and also pointed out to me those instances where I was just putting stuff on myself. Those were expectations of me. And the other thing, and what really made me think about it, is the fact that when I work with people or people on my team, those additional and unnecessary self-expectations was just making them stressed out too. And that wasn't fair. Of course it wasn't fair to me to stress myself out, but even more so, it wasn't fair to other people working with me or around me to stress them out too, because I was filled with self-doubt and with self-worry and felt like I never fit in and that I didn't deserve, the particular position I was in. And I'm telling you that the fact, I was able to, after just this guidance, and with a lot of research and just a lot of reading and self-discovery, I was able to figure out that, those were just limiting beliefs. Those were beliefs that I had held over from when I was a kid. People will say you're not good enough. I didn't grow, certainly didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. My family struggled. We struggled for a long time to, get the things that we needed and forget about wants. And so those limiting beliefs came from that. I would sit in a class full of people, and, my dad is in the Army, and my dad was enlisted, and I would sit in a class full of people whose dads were officers, and I felt that I was less than because their dads were in higher rank than I was. And I would sit in classroom with people whose clothes were so much better than mine. My clothes were from Goodwill. Sometimes they were hand-me-down from my mom, and she would try to take them up. We didn't have the money to buy clothes, and I kind of felt because my clothes didn't look like the clothes of everyone else sitting in that classroom with me, that I was less than. So it wasn't something that necessarily that other people did. These were my limiting beliefs that followed me from childhood all the way through adulthood. And so I was able to get in and identify the limiting beliefs and just do a lot of mindset work, on what I deserve. You deserve what you work for. It's not, not that you handed anything, but if you work for it, you deserve it, and the mindset changes around that. I finally got to a place where I understood that I can talk back to the negative voices. I didn't have to believe what those negative voices, that negative self-talk was telling me. And so through that mindset work, through working out and understanding that, because the thought came through my brain, I didn't have to ruminate on it and believe it. And then also just having, some people around me, gave me really good guidance and just call out the BS, called it out. If I would be freaked out about something, they would really call a spade and tell me, you need to quit, just let it go. Oh my God, stop. Types of things. And that helped me to get through. So, I did change careers because I figured out, after I got the mindset right and I got the limiting beliefs right, I realized I was not in a career that was authentic to me. And that was a lot of the issue, a part of the issue. And so I did, I transferred, I transitioned to another career that was me. For the first time, I felt like I'm in the right place. I'm in the right place. I'm in the right position. I enjoy what I do. I am good at what I do. And so I can say that now, when I look back, it was so much self-doubt and so much time wasted. And in many cases, just wasted money, just lost salary because I was, I stayed stuck in positions that I know I could have done better in, but I just couldn't get unstuck. And so these positions were oftentimes, they paid lower than what I could. So, going through working with people who were able to guide me and change that mindset. And now I can, if the negative self-talk comes up, I know how to talk back to it. I know how to get straight in my mind and look at what's reality and what's real and what's not. I no longer fill in gaps with made-up stories that say I'm not good enough. I'm not, I'm never going to be good enough, or you can't do this, you can't do that. And so that has really changed me and put me into the space that I am now. And so that is why I am and have just this huge passion to serve women who, because I fumbled around, oh my God, for about 20 something years in my career. And just in doubt and fear and worry, Sunday night, the dread would come in and I would be ill and my stomach would be sick because I dreaded going to work. Those days are gone. I look forward to coming to work because I enjoy what I do. And you can too. You shouldn't have to deal with fear or with that self-imposter syndrome. You're not good enough. So if you're interested, if you've lived that way for how many years now, how many months, you don't have to do that. You can do the exact same thing that I did. Call me for a complimentary strategy session. I give, work with women. I sit down with you and we can do just a coaching session together, come up with a step-by-step plan, figure out where you are, where it is you want to go, and then figure out a step-by-step plan that helps you leap forward to your best life. Because you only have one life. Like they say, YOLO. You only have one life to live, and why not live it to the best of your ability? Why not? You don't have to be stuck. You don't have to be afraid, sitting in meetings every day looking, scared to death somebody's going to point out like, she doesn't belong here. Get her out of here. You're fired. You don't have to feel like that. You don't have to live that way. And I am living proof that yes, you can beat it. Yes, you can speak up in meetings. Yes, you can build self-confidence. Yes, you can get rid of self-doubt. Yes, you can kick that self-imposter to the curb. Yes, you can speak encouraging thoughts to yourself every day. I know for a fact that you can do it. I did it, and I'm sure that anybody else can. So that is my truth. I appreciate you all for watching. Again, if you're ready for that breakthrough session, schedule a complimentary strategy session with me. It'll be the best hour that you spent. You can only go up from there. Thanks for watching. That's my truth, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night.